So, why haven't you finished your manuscript? Do you feel like you are going to be dead by the time you finish your manuscript? I am talking to the camera as if it was a mirror because I asked myself the same thing about my first fiction book. So, I heard the stat, I don't know if it's true, that 97% of manuscripts never get finished. And that just sounds so sad to me. And I have come up with a few roadblocks that might be in my own way and a few ways to break those resistances. Let me know if you have different roadblocks, but these are the three biggest ones that I've come up with for why 97% of authors potentially don't finish their manuscripts. So the first one is fear of rejection. I think that there's a lot of us who feel this way, and it's not just fear of scathing reviews, which is awful. There's so many keyboard warriors more than ever these days, and it's very, very easy to leave a bad review. It's hard to write a book. It's hard to put yourself out there. It's super easy to be a reviewer. Lots of opinions in this world, and we need to be able to take some of those for our own work. It's not just the scathing reviews, though. It's our own family and friends, the judgment of the people closest to us. Are they going to realize we base the character off of them, or are they going to read our opinions on a certain subject matter and we know deep down they're already going to argue with us or disagree deeply? It's very scary to deal with rejection and judgment of the world and of the people closest to us. So that's number one. The second one is feeling inadequate and asking yourself, is it shit? Is my manuscript shit? Especially if you're a new writer and you've never done it before and you love the story or the idea and you're putting your heart into it, but you're brand new at it. It's taking you so long. You've heard of other writers who write a book in a month during NaNoWriMo, write 50,000 words, 100,000 words. They write 3,000 words a day. They have quickly made it into a career, and it's easy to compare your chapter 1 to their chapter 20, or however the saying goes. And it's also easy to read over your manuscript and think, wow, this is what I wrote. That's really it. So that's my roadblock number 2, is feeling inadequate. A little bit of imposter syndrome in there too. And the third biggest one, and I think this has been a really big one for me in the past, is it's just lonely. Writing can be so lonely. You can spend months or years with the same ideas and the same characters. And for the most part, unless you're in this quirky writing tribe where you actually just speak into a microphone and transcribe everything, for the most part, it's just you and your keyboard or your notebook writing for months or years or however long it is. And that time by yourself in your head is time away from your day job, your kids, your spouse, sleep, eating well and exercising, and finding joy in other things that are maybe more enjoyable, less creative, more brainless, whatever it is. I like to cook and be in the garden as much as my plants don't thank me for it. So there's so many other things we can be doing, but writing, we're doing this instead, and it's super lonely. It can be super lonely. So those are my big roadblocks. And the way that I've personally dealt with them, for one, for fear of rejection, I put out my book, my nonfiction book on Lyme disease. I just published it. It was not perfect. It actually, in hindsight, I would have done so much more. I would have hired a book cover instead of had my ex-boyfriend make it. I would have hired an editor. Besides, had it proofread. I did not put enough into it, I think. But I put it out there knowing that it was not perfect, but I thought it was as close to it as possible. So knowing that the finished product can be excellent without being perfect. What is that saying? Is it Voltaire? Perfect is the enemy of good. So at one point, you need to be confident. You need to be able to back your own work and say, yes, this is good. I have honestly done everything I could to make this better. Number 2, feeling inadequate. Is it shit? it probably is shit. Your first draft of anything is shit. And that's not me saying that. That is Hemingway. So I think if you know where you're going, you know your purpose in writing, just get to the end and write it and invest your own heart and your own consideration into as many angles as you can fathom between every single character, or fleshing out every single chapter if you're writing nonfiction, making sure that there's substance there. So make sure that you feel like it's ready to go. You've written your shit draft, you've revised it, you've done self-editing, and then on top of this, please use beta readers. I see lots of authors skip this step and jump right into advanced reader copies. And by the time you're just putting out your advanced reader copies, looking for reviews, people are, especially people closest to us, are less inclined to point out the problems in your book. But if you're in beta mode, then you're looking for feedback. Like, embrace getting roasted and take that feedback and make the book better. Don't change the heart and soul of the book, but iterate on it. Take feedback, especially if you're trying to write to market, then you should really, really want to hear what people have to say about the weaknesses of the book so you can make it stronger. And after beta readers, I would suggest getting a developmental editor. I am in this process right now, and I've actually made a recording of me and a developmental editor talking about my book so that you can see what the heck that process might look like. And I think that for a beginning writer, I'm new to fiction, I am so happy to be getting this feedback from both beta readers and editors. And my beta readers are also authors. I do beta swaps with authors who also have manuscripts, and that way we are very invested in each other's work, knowing that the trade is quite equal. It's a nice equal partnership. So feeling inadequate because it's shit, keep working on your manuscripts. Draft 1 and draft 27 are very, very different products. And draft 27 typically will be the professional product that is worthy of trade publishing. And self-publishing gets a bad rep, I think, because it is possible to skip, the 26 drafts in between and just put it up there like that. And the last roadblock, it's lonely. Writing can be lonely, and it takes you away from friends, family, work, sleep, health, sanity sometimes, and you're stuck with the same characters. Maybe your spouse or mom don't want to hear about these characters every day. And I think for me, the best, most inspiring solution has been to join writing communities and surround myself with writers who are at every stage of the self-publishing process, so that I can talk about all these different stages with different people who are at different stages, depending on either where I'm at, so connecting over ranting and celebrating milestones together, or asking people who are further ahead for advice, how did they do it, and helping people who are a little bit behind catch up to you. So just joining a writing community is super fun, and it makes it far less lonely. It also helps you feel less inadequate, because it's hard to feel like an imposter when you and all your friends are writers in certain circles. So it's a really, really nice thing. And I highly recommend joining Facebook groups or masterminds or something where you're surrounded by writers who can keep you accountable. And you are more than welcome to join our community as well. So we talked about fear of rejection, the feeling inadequate, that sucks too, and being lonely as fuck. And all of those, to me, are the biggest roadblocks to actually finishing your story and getting it to the next stage. So does any of that resonate with you? And if it's something bigger, if you think that writer's block or guilt and time away from family or something else is a bigger roadblock, then let me know. And if you are interested, as I said, in joining a community, join us in our Facebook group, which I'll post below. And good luck with writing. Find friends who can lift you up and cheerlead you on so that you can actually finish your manuscript. Okay.